Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In the spirit of Halloween, this week I decided to react to horrifying haunted houses that take it too far. If you enjoy the videos, like, comment, subscribe, also share, and hopefully they ain't going too far. I heard a story about one haunted house that was going too far with the dude. He was making them sign waivers and all type of extra stuff or whatever. But hopefully, well, they probably gonna include that in here, but hopefully they ain't nothing too crazy.
The first haunted house on this list is Dead of Night. Dead of Night was an attraction run by the Chamber of Horrors on Long Island, New York that closed in 2015. It was regarded as one of New York's most extreme haunted houses, and it had one of the most horrifying haunt openings many had ever seen. Everyone waited in lines, listening to a calming pre-recorded message saying, "We are here for your protection.
Everything will be okay.
Why they got tape on their mouth?
We are here to protect you and care for you. We love you. Nothing is real. All is well."
Which was interrupted at intervals by an air raid siren and men in gas masks and suits who each grabbed an unsuspecting patron and dragged them into the attraction. However, you'd be lucky if you were dragged in. Some people were zipped into body bags and some were thrown over actors' shoulders and carried in. The attraction opened with this very strong abduction.
Oh no, put me down. Put me down. Put me down if I knock you the hell out. Put me down. I'm not playing. Put me down. I'm a grown man. Do not put me over your shoulders. Don't put me over your shoulders. Don't drag me. Don't none of that. This is going too far. Don't touch me. Do not touch me. I'll elbow you right in the nose. Don't play with me. That's crazy.
Scenario. Then the focus shifted to humiliation, which included the smearing of strange substances on patrons' faces and even hitting people in the face with large and painfully heavy objects.
What?
Dead of Night has been discontinued from the Chamber of Horrors, but people to this day still hope to see it return. In Chicago, Illinois, there's a haunted house called Miasma, which is just as extreme, if not more extreme, than Dead of Night. Miasma is restricted to those 18 and older.
Picture a haunted house being scary in Chicago. Chicago is a scary place already. Picture a haunted house. That haunted house got to be 10 times worse. I'm sorry.
Patrons may only enter alone. Patrons will be restrained, blindfolded, smeared with blood, endure heavy physical contact, and more. It's invite only, however, and patrons who receive
smeared with blood
an invite commonly describe the instructions in the email to be very vague but clear, and that was to not share the location of where they're going with anyone, to show up alone, and do not show up late. If the instructions were ever disregarded, the experience would end.
I beg your pardon? So you're trying to tell me that nobody can know where you're going or where you're at? Now, what if something was to happen to you? Nobody knows where you are. And people really sign up for this. People really sign up for this.
All guests are asked to refrain from sharing details of the experience, making it harder to get many details about what goes on inside. But some patrons have described their experiences to involve physical pain, often leaving with claw marks on their skin, psychological torture, emotional distress, and a lot of violence. Miasma can be very physically demanding, forcing patrons to sometimes crawl through tight spaces. One patron said she at one point forgot she was in a haunted house and tapped out when it started to feel like she was genuinely in a life or death situation. The location isn't even revealed to guests until 24 hours prior, and allegedly the location always changes. Scarehouse the Basement. Underneath the regular, tamer attraction known as Scarehouse in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, used to lie what was known as the basement at Scarehouse, which was a much more intense, immersive, and interactive experience than that of the one upstairs, and it was held inside a nearly 100-year-old historic and apparently actually haunted building. It's been closed since COVID, but it's rumored to be returning soon. You may enter in pairs or alone, though odds are not many people will be entering this place alone. The actors in this haunted house are incredibly convincing, and there's a lot of improvisation and dialogue as you make your way through each scene of what's basically your own personal real-life horror movie.
I don't like that improvising part. I don't like that improvising part. I mean, whatever they feel like doing, they could do it.
Not possible to make it from start to end without coming into contact and having to deal with the actors stopping you and messing around with you. There's extreme physical contact, sexual undertones, real electric shock, religious themes.
Electric shock. Oh no. I'm fighting. I gotta fight you. It's law. It's the law. I gotta fight you. I have to fight you. You can't just electrically shock me.
Tight spaces and much more. Like most attractions I'll talk about in this video, you must sign a waiver before entering. The basement can get so disturbing that the attraction appropriately has a safe word to yell out if a patron happens to feel violated or too uncomfortable.
That shouldn't even be a thing.
The Cult was an attraction located in North Conway, New Hampshire. The Cult had been called the ultimate in terror, only for die-hard fans of true horror, for those who want the experience of real-life terror to test your fears. It was an hour-long attraction and patrons had to walk through alone. Absolutely no groups allowed. Going through it, you would encounter violent situations, and the actors would lay hands on you many times.
Ooh.
As the nervous patrons meet a man before entering the attraction who asks if they have any problems with darkness, heights, claustrophobia, eels, rats, bugs, needles, or being fully submerged in water.
Where the hell you get eels from? Where are you getting eels? You know, rats, roaches. No, y'all just dirty. Where you get an eel though?
Most of the patrons were already nervous of what they were getting themselves into. Patrons were given a red card on a lanyard. If one decided the experience was too much, they would give up their safety pass and it would be over. During the experience, patrons would be asked to step into a chairlift that led to a dirt path, which would then lead to a cabin where they would meet a man who would shove them into a booth, yell at them, spray them with unknown liquids, throw a bag over their heads, and then carry them outside, where the simulated torture continued. As patrons continued on, it only got worse. Throughout the attraction, patrons would encounter live animals, for example, being forced to have snakes or cockroaches crawl on them.
Oh, no,
forced edibles, for example, being forced to drink what the actors would claim as animal urine, extreme violence, and much more. The Cult has been closed since 2013.
Bro, this is somebody's sick fantasy, bro. That's what this is. It's a sick fantasy, and because you signed a waiver, they can do this.
The Blackout Haunted House was an attraction that had two locations, one in New York and one in California. It featured extreme violence, full frontal nudity, forced edibles, submersion in water, physical contact, and patrons had
Forced edibles. What kind of edibles are we talking here? For research purposes. What kind?
to enter alone. Patrons were abducted in vans, waterboarded, and even rolled naked in a sheet of plastic and forced to walk barefoot down a hallway. Said hallway would lead to a scene with a horrifically tall figure and frail woman. And if I described the scene, this video would probably get age restricted. As a patron would pass, the tall man would stand up, exposing his body, and then threaten to make physical contact with the patron.
No, I kick you in the nuts. I stomp you in the nuts. Don't show me nothing. Don't show me nothing. And people really sign up for this. That's the amazing part. People really sign up for stuff like this. They really intrigued by shit like this. They're like, oh, you know what? I ain't no thing. I'm just gonna go sign a waiver, go to this haunted house. I'm gonna do all of these things. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get waterboarded. Hopefully I don't drown. Or I'm gonna get stripped naked and then walk into the hallway, cold, butt naked, and man, he's gonna make me so uncomfortable that I'm gonna want to quit. Why?
Blackout overall relied on darkness, loud noises, violence, and sexual situations to terrify its customers. Until around 2015, it had been a solo-only experience.
I bet you they selling them tapes.
Starting in, I believe, 2016 or 2017, patrons were allowed to enter in groups. It seems Blackout hasn't been open for the past 2 seasons.
Good.
Freakling Brothers Victim Experience 3 is a Las Vegas attraction featuring extended submersion in water, electric shock, and extreme physical contact. The Victim Experience is extremely intense, and you must go through alone. One patron said he watched a camouflaged attacker appear out of nowhere, grab his colleague by the foot, then knock her down and drag her down a long hallway as she screamed. He was left alone in the darkness until the attacker came back for him and threw him over his shoulder. Patrons will experience electric shock at some point, as well as the feeling of near drowning.
They're just saying this like it's normal. Well, patrons, they will experience electric shock. Like it's normal. Like, hey, it's just normal. That's just stuff haunted houses do. I ain't never been to a haunted house in fear for my life. They usually just jump out at me, yell with their hot breath and all that, and that's it.
As they're submerged underwater for extended periods of time. As the title of the attraction suggests, once you enter, you are a victim. You will experience pain and you will be tied up, and you may be carried and thrown. Freakling Brothers actually run 3 haunted houses every year: Castle Vampire, Circus of Horrors, and Gates of Hell. The Gates of Hell became one of the first haunted houses in the country to be R-rated due to graphic content and their requirement of patrons to be over 18 and sign a waiver. The victim experience takes place in the Gates of Hell attraction, and it simulates what it would be believed to be like to die and actually go to hell. Without giving
And people just cool with that. It's just cool with that. We simulate an experience of actually, transitioning. They got some sick people in this world. People with kinks, people with all type of just that's a mental illness to just sign up for shit like this. Is it wrong that I'm low-key intrigued? It's like this is crazy. Like, just hearing all of this, it sounds wrong, but there's like a small percentage of me that kind of want to just be like, let me go in here for like at least 3 minutes.
Giving too much away, victims are put in several scenes where they're touched, forced to get down on their knees, and subjected to things that anyone would find uncomfortable.
No, man.
The Raven's Nest was one of the lesser-known extreme haunted houses, and it's been closed since 2009. It had been closed after it was deemed as too extreme by the town.
Man, look at that door. Look at the door. There's some shit going on there. I wouldn't even go to, the little rusty rails and all that. Nah, I'm cool. I ain't going in there. Like some Candyman shit.
Raven's Nest featured actors who were paid to induce pain on the patrons, as well as other humiliating methods of torture. The owner, Mike McNair, would hire mostly larger and more intimidating actors who would be capable of easily picking up, tying, or shoving patrons. Visitors would also be kicked to the floor and forced to do things like lick the ground, eat disgusting foods and liquids off the floor, and even have actors try to induce vomiting in the patrons. The attraction also played with claustrophobia, having patrons crawl through air vents filled with real cockroaches and spiders, as well as constant tight and cramped rooms and pathways. There was no safe word, which may have been a small factor in the eventual closing of the Raven's Nest. Many of you definitely have heard of this last one, McCamey Manor.
Yeah.
This San Diego attraction, if it could even be called that, shouldn't even be in the same category as regular haunted house attractions. This place tops the list because it tends to use extreme scare tactics that are off limits to professional attractions. It also can't be said that what goes on in this place is safe. Participants are covered in blood, forced to eat disgusting things, threatened with power tools, stuffed in a clothes dryer, water for extended periods, physically assaulted, and even given an unwanted haircut. Participants often leave covered in blood, commonly their own.
They gonna beat you up and cut your hair. And this what you want. This what you wanted. You sign that waiver, you signed over your life. Do whatever they want to you.
And so far, nobody has made it through to the end. There used to be no safe word, and they would only pull the plug when medically necessary. This place plays with people's fears of claustrophobia with tight spaces and corridors, people's fears of spiders with restrained victims having up to or even more than 4 tarantulas crawling over their faces, people's fears of clowns, and just about anything else you could think of. Perhaps one of the more shocking parts is that the experience can go on for up to 10 hours, obviously a big contributor.
10 hours? 10? Oh, man, yeah. I don't feel sorry. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't feel sorry for nobody that signed up for this shit. You signed up for it. You signed up for it. It's 10 hours. That's kidnapped.
Contributor to why nobody's made it through to the end yet. For a long time, the place didn't have a safe word, and Russ, the owner, only added one after he was told he legally needed to. But
This
even with
guy
this
here.
safe word, apparently the torture can go on for many people who repeatedly use the safe word, rendering it basically useless. McCamey Manor also garnered a lot of criticism regarding the $20,000 cash prize that they promised to anyone who can make it through to the end, with a lot of people believing they simply wouldn't allow anyone to win, because oftentimes the workers will decide for the patrons that they're done, even if the patron wants to keep going. McCamey Manor is self-described as a place for extreme horror lovers only, who wish
Man, like I said, that's a sick fantasy from a sick person that just want to torture people. And then and it's legal. You can't get away with it. You signed it over. You signed that paperwork. Hey, do whatever you want to you.
to experience what true terror and gross-out torture feels like. But apparently there are a lot of people who wish to experience it, as there's a waiting list of more than 20,000 people.
20,000.
There's currently a Change.org petition to close down McCamey Manor for good, with over 180,000
I'll sign
signatures. Thousands of people shun this place for claiming to be a haunted house attraction, when they believe it's simply a torture chamber under disguise. Russ's 40-page waiver is also very questionable, and he apparently misspells the word liable multiple times to attempt to make certain points of the waiver void. Whatever your thoughts on this place are, anyone would admit it's the definition of a horror attraction that takes it way too far.
That was my goddamn ear. You had to do that. I had that little part there. That was my goddamn ear. But yeah, man, hell nah. Nope. Hell no, can't do it. I wouldn't do it. Let me know in the comments, would y'all go through this? At least one of these haunted houses. You ain't gotta go through the last one. If you would go to the last one, let me know. So I could, see if I could try to help you in some way, shape, or form, or have you committed. But yeah, I wouldn't visit none of these haunted houses. I don't want nobody touching me. Don't put your hands on me. Don't grab me, drag me, none of that. Don't try to make me eat nothing. Don't spray any blood or anything on me. Nothing. I would not go to places like this. I like my horror house, my haunted houses. Basic. Just jump out, yell at me, be hiding places and jumping out things. Don't touch me. Please don't touch me. But ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the videos, like, comment, subscribe, also share. And yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. That's some bullshit.